The sky over Sumatra, Indonesia, on September 26, 1997, held a deceptive calmness. Beneath this serene facade, a tragedy was about to unfold. Garuda Indonesia Flight 152, a routine domestic flight, was destined to become synonymous with heartbreak. The Airbus A300B4 carried 222 passengers and 12 crew members. The flight was scheduled to land in Medan, a bustling city on Sumatra. Little did anyone know that this ordinary flight would soon transform into a symbol of national mourning. The flight path from Jakarta to Medan typically takes just over 2 hours, traversing the diverse landscapes of Indonesia. As Flight 152 cruised towards Medan, the weather began to deteriorate. Thick haze from nearby forest fires blanketed the region, reducing visibility significantly. The pilots navigating through the increasingly dense haze were relying heavily on instruments to guide them. The air traffic controllers in Medan were also grappling with the challenging conditions. Approaching Medan, Flight 152 was instructed to hold before landing due to the congested airspace. The pilots were directed to circle in a designated holding pattern, awaiting clearance to descend. This holding pattern, a standard procedure in air traffic management, would unfortunately place the aircraft on a collision course with destiny. The pilots, diligently following air traffic control instructions, were unknowingly steering towards disaster. The thick haze shrouding the area made visual navigation nearly impossible. The pilots were relying on instruments and communication with air traffic control to maintain their bearings. A series of miscommunications between the pilots and air traffic control compounded the already precarious situation. In the confusion, Flight 152 deviated from its assigned holding pattern and inadvertently entered a restricted area. The dense haze and the breakdown in communication created a perfect storm for disaster. Tragically, Flight 152 descended directly into the path of another hilly area south of Medan, making access for rescue efforts extremely difficult. The impact was catastrophic, leaving no survivors. The news of the crash sent shockwaves throughout Indonesia and the world. The scale of the tragedy was unprecedented, marking the deadliest aviation disaster in Indonesian history. The crash site became a focal point for rescue workers, investigators, and grieving families. The Indonesian government launched a full-scale investigation to determine the cause of the crash. The investigation revealed that the primary cause was miscommunication between pilots and air traffic control. The human cost of the tragedy was immeasurable. 234 lives were lost, leaving behind grieving families and a nation in mourning. The crash impacted communities across Indonesia, leaving a void that would never be truly filled. The stories of the victims, their hopes, dreams, and the lives they left behind served as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life. The families of the victims faced unimaginable grief and loss. The Indonesian government provided support and assistance to the families, offering counseling and financial aid. The process of healing and moving forward was long and arduous for all those affected. The crash of Flight 152 served as a wake-up call for the Indonesian aviation industry. It highlighted the urgent need for improved safety measures and better communication protocols. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the Indonesian government implemented a series of reforms to enhance aviation safety. These reforms included upgrading air traffic control systems, improving communication protocols, and enhancing pilot training programs. The goal was to prevent a similar tragedy from ever happening again. The Indonesian aviation industry adopted new technologies and procedures to improve air traffic management. These included the implementation of ground proximity warning systems and the adoption of clearer communication protocols between pilots and air traffic controllers. These technological advancements and procedural changes were designed to enhance safety and reduce the risk of accidents. The aviation industry embraced a renewed focus on safety, recognizing the paramount importance of protecting lives. The crash of Garuda Indonesia Flight 152 remains a somber chapter in Indonesian history. The lessons learned from this devastating event continue to shape the aviation industry today.